Hello, Teacher Fit. My name is Bailey. Welcome to our 30-minute slow flow. So today we might hold poses a little bit longer than your brain wants you to. That's okay. You're going to love it. Let's get started on our backs today. So coming all the way down. So some people may know this as Shavasana, corpse pose, a place where you can completely let go. So as you close your eyes here, let your feet flop out to the side. Let your palms face up. And as you notice your breath here, don't try to change it just yet. Notice how it feels naturally moving through your body on its own. I like to call this autopilot breath. Right? And so just notice that. How does that feel? You don't have to do any work. Your breath is just there, keeping you alive. Noticing any thoughts. Letting them be there. And as you start to turn off that autopilot switch, turning on that controlled breath, take a long, full inhale through your nose. Pause at the top, take in a little bit more air, more than you think you can, and then sigh it out of your mouth. Good. Doing that again. Long breath in through your nose. Exhale it out and away. You can do one or two more of those clearing, cleansing breaths if that feels nice. Or you can start to move into your conscious breath work here. That's just as simple as matching your inhales and exhales in length. So breathing in for maybe the count of 3 or 4, taking a little pause and then breathing out for the same amount of time. Good. Developing controlled breath. Noticing if there's a tendency to let that autopilot switch come back on. To let your nervous system do the work for you. Bring in that conscious breath. Holding yourself accountable to your breath today. So developing a rhythm to your breath that feels comfortable for you, that's sustainable through practice, something that you can come back to in 15 minutes when I remind you, because I will remind you. So letting this be unique to you. And as you take the next 3 or 4 rounds of breath here, noticing what comes up as you start to cultivate your breath. Sometimes I feel a little bit of resentment because I don't want to do the work for my breath. I just want it to happen for me in the background. So notice if that's happening, if there's anticipation to breathe out, if there's anxiety to take those longer, slower inhales. But being curious about that, that's the first step in this awareness, is just noticing without judging how we feel when we consciously, purposely do things. We don't have to figure out the answers right away. Over time, they just come. You can keep your eyes closed if you'd like, or start to blink them open as you reach your arms up overhead. Take a full body stretch. So point through your toes and reach through your fingers. You can kind of wiggle around however it feels nice here. And we're going to move into a banana shape. So starting to crawl both of your feet to the right. They might come off the side of your mat here. And then start to shimmy your shoulders to the right as well. So it's like you're making this C shape with your body. Arms overhead, you can grab onto your left wrist with your right hand as you start to lean to the right. You can cross that left ankle over your right ankle if you want, or any of those variations, right? So you're breathing into the left side of your body here. Still with the breath that you started with, keeping both of your sit bones grounded, keeping both of your shoulder blades grounded. So notice if you're rocking up, press back down. Good. Take one more breath in here. And then start to walk your feet back through center and let your heels come to the other side of your mat here. Shimmy your shoulders to the left. It's kind of this awkward little shift over. And then you can choose to keep your heels next to one another or cross your right ankle over your left leg, grabbing onto that right wrist with your left hand as you pull along that right arm, finding a nice big side stretch here. So rocking both of your hips flat on the mat, both of your shoulders flat. Breathe into this nice opening across the right side of your body right here. And as you inhale, notice the space between each one of your ribs expands. Exhale deeply. Good, take one more breath in. And then come back through center. So in our slow flow today, we might move a little slower, like I said, than you want. Let that be okay. I want you to start to bring your knees into your chest and rock yourself upright. So keep your feet flat on the mat here. And I want you to bring your hands back behind you. We're gonna come into some boat poses and then to stretch it out in bridge pose. So for now, just keep your tiptoes on the mat, fingertips back behind you. Shoulders roll back, chest comes through. Notice if you're rounding and curling your chin in, send your heart through. Good. So you can stay like this, or you can start to lift your feet off the mat. Notice how that feels. And if you'd like, you can start to reach both of your arms forward. This is our boat pose. You can point your toes, you can flex them, you might even let your ankles breathe a little bit. But again, notice if you're reaching forward, did you start to round? Shoulders roll back, nice long spine here. And if you ever need to bring your hands back behind you, do it. There's still that core support here. You're still getting a lot from this shape. So notice what you need. 3 more breaths like this. Squeeze your knees in, long spine, heart comes through. Beautiful, breath in, stay, full inhale, full exhale, start to lower your feet down to the mat and find your bridge pose, so stretch it out. Send your hips nice and high, press your arms into the mat, so we engaged our core a lot, and now we're gonna just stretch things out, let it breathe a little. So squeeze your quads and your glutes, send your hips up nice and high, you can bring your hands together at your low back if you'd like. This does not have to be your biggest bridge pose. You can wiggle, you can dip your hips, you might come onto your tiptoes, crawl your feet back in closer towards your body or lift a leg, right? We're still warming up. So feel free to invite in any movements that feel good for you in your practice today. I love when students listen to their body and make things up as they go. So take about 2 more breaths here. Every inhale, think of lifting your hips higher, really breathing into your core all the way through your low back. Good. And then on your next exhale, lower down using your core support here, not momentum. Come back into your boat pose, coming up. Good. And you can, again, hands come back behind you. You can even put your toes back down if you need. Option this time to straighten out one leg. Beautiful. Stay here. You always have the opportunity to dial it up in any way you need and straighten both legs. We're going to do it one more time so you'll have the opportunity for that if you'd like. Beautiful. Lengthen your spine. Breath in. Exhale, stay. Use the breath that you started with to keep holding these longer held shapes. Yes, you're reaching, but you're rolling your shoulders back. Think about your chest shining through. Take one more inhale. And stretch it out, bridge pose, feet come down, shoulders roll back, hips go high, press into your feet. Good, and as you squeeze your thighs towards one another, try to keep your knees moving closer in instead of out. So less splaying out, more coming in. Ground down through your arms. Use the strength of your arms as you press them down into the mat to find that big lift. Anything that makes sense here? Noticing what your body wants to do. How does it feel to be still? Is there anything that wants to wiggle? Is there anything that needs to breathe? Use your inhales, lift up nice and high. Use your exhales, stay through it. Good, take one more breath. Lower, last boat pose. Rocking into it, nice and slow, coming up nice and high. You can start to straighten out both of your legs here. If you want to grab onto your toes, find that yogi toe lock, you can. And if you do have that, notice, does that take away some of the core support that you have to use in this pose? Maybe you just reach forward. Maybe that's more challenging. Always optional to bring your hands back, put your toes down. You choose. Letting it be different for you every single day. Good. Every single time you practice being curious about what your body needs. It's not always a linear growth. Good. Take one more breath in, lowering down, stretching it out. Last time, bridge pose, hips high. You can always interlace your hands or robot your arms. Press into your feet. It's like you're trying to slip your feet forward as you lift your hips high. Full breath in, full breath out. One last inhale here. Good, and lower all the way back down. Start to bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. You can reach for opposite elbows as you do this. Rock to the left, to the right if that feels good. And when you're ready, grab onto the backs of your thighs. And start to rock and roll the length of your spine from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Good. And come up into a seat. So you can sit with your legs crossed, or you can sit back on your heels if you'd like. Either shape, whatever feels good for you. I'll face you. Breathe in, reach high. Exhale, twist left hand, right thigh. Grow tall as you inhale. And exhale, twist further, looking over that right shoulder. So use the strength of your left arm. Press it into your thigh. Get some traction as you twist. Sitting up tall and twisting as you breathe out. Good. Arms unravel, unwind. Reach up high, breathe in. Exhale, other side. Right hand to your left thigh. Using your left hand back behind you to sit up nice and tall. So you might have your fingertips pressed into the mat, looking over that left shoulder. So where the gaze goes, the pose goes. Every single time. Long inhale. Full exhale as you twist. Unravel. Arms reach high. Breathe in. Side stretch. Right hand or forearm comes down as you reach up and over. Good. So you press into the mat. Ground down into that left sit bone. Notice if you're rocking up, press it down as you reach. Rolling your heart high, inhale. Stretch for this side while exhale. Good, take your time. Lift up, breathe in. Other side. Breathe out. Left hand or forearm comes down. Reach up and over. Good. Noticing if your torso is facing the mat. I want instead to roll high and shine it towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Think about bicep in line with your ear as you roll your shoulder down your spine. Beautiful. Breath in. Stretch. Come back up on your inhale. Good. Tabletop with your exhale, hands and knees. So bringing your shoulders right over your wrists and your hips right over your knees. Coming into your cats and your cows. So breathing in for that cow pose, and then exhale, dome. Round out your spine as you gaze to your navel on your exhale. Keep moving with your breath. A couple more like this. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cats. Using the breath that you started with. Keep on moving. One more time. Eventually finding some stillness here in your tabletop. Reaching your right arm out in front of you. It's like you're trying to shake somebody's hand, okay? So you have your bicep in line with your ear, thumb to the ceiling. Start to step your left toes out long on the mat. Option to stay right here or hover your left toes off the mat. Beautiful. Big stretch from your left heel as you flex your foot towards your right fingertips. Long inhale together. Exhale, crunch your elbow to your knee. Hug up and in. Lengthen, breath in, go with your breath, exhaling as you crunch. Good, lengthen, inhale. Crunch, exhale. Come back out nice and long, stay here. You can stay here and hover, or start to bend your left leg. Reach your right arm back and find your foot. If you make contact with your foot, lift that left thigh further away from the mat. Lift your left toes close to the ceiling. Beautiful. Kick your foot back, open across your chest. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. One more inhale. Release softly, stretch everything long, and then step back down, tabletop. Good, breathe in. Breathe out. Left arm comes out. Bicep in line with your ear, thumb to the ceiling. I want you to look down, keeping your spine long through your neck. Step your right toes out long on the mat. You choose to stay here or let them hover. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale as you crunch. Your elbow might pass your knee. Good. Lengthen forward. Inhale. Exhale, crunch. Moving with your breath, not my cueing. Crunching on your next exhale. Really good. Stretch out. Stay here. Hover, or your choice. Bend your right leg. Reach back with your left hand and find your foot. Think about that right thigh moving away from the mat. Think about your right toes lifting closer to the ceiling. Nice straight right arm. Press the mat away. Breathe in. Kick that right foot back. One more breath. Release, stretch out. And set everything down. tabletop. Good, inhale. Exhale. Curl your toes. Send your hips high, downward facing dog. Starting to pedal out here. Noticing how your body wants to move. And just noticing what your circulation feels like as you're inverted. Right? We're upside down here. Down dog is an inversion, so notice what changed. Not just physically, but with your energy. Good. Starting to come to some stillness. Drive your heels down to the mat, even if they don't touch. You still want to drive them down. Send the backs of your legs to the wall behind you as your torso melts to your thighs. Good. Press into the mats. All of your finger pads are sealed into the mat. It's this little tree frog grip. One last breath. Exhale, feet to your hands. Find a halfway lift at the top of your mats. Lengthen your spine, fingertips to your shins. Exhale, fold, ragdoll. Bend your knees as much as you need. Grab onto opposite elbows as you frame your face. Or you can find a bind if you want to get into your shoulders. Arms overhead, torso melts to your thighs. You can see as I have my knees bent a lot here, my torso melts. If my legs are straight, I might need to round if my hamstrings are tight. So bend as much as you need to so that you can really hang, keeping your hips stacked over your heels. Good. Softening that place where your head meets your neck. Let it hang. Swing, sway, shake. Flutter your lips if that feels good. Release what needs to go before we start to flow. Beautiful. Release any bind that you have. Finding some stillness. Full breath in. Full breath out. Ground down through your feet. Rise tall, mountain pose. Roll up slowly with your inhale. Arms reach overhead. And pull your hands to your heart. Exhale. We're going to move through some half suns. I want you to move with your breath, not necessarily my cueing. So go as fast as your breath takes you. All right? Arms reach. Inhale, gaze high. Exhale through the center or swan dive as you fold. All the breath comes out. Find your halfway lift. Slide up dog in your chest. Breathe in. Exhale, fold it away. Good. Mountain pose. Grow tall on your inhale. And keep moving with your breath. Exhale, folding. You decide, hands through center or swan dive. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Fingertips could come to the mat or your shins. Slide up dog in your chest and fold it away. Root to rise. Grow tall as you inhale. One last time, exhale, folding. And finding your halfway lift. Fold it out. What does it feel like to follow your breath? Roll up high, breathe in. And bring your hands to your heart, breathe out, good. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, fold. This time find your halfway lift and pause. So fingertips towards your shins. Notice if you're rounding, shoulders roll back. So slight up dog here, almost thinking of this as a back bend. Sending the crown of your head forward, good. Breath in. Plant your hands and step that left foot back. Low lunge. I want you to bring your left knee all the way down to the mat. Roll your shoulders back. If you have blocks, you can bring your hands to some blocks right here if you'd like. But we're lowering that left knee down onto the mat. Good. You can stay right here if you're comfortable. Otherwise, bring both of your hands to your right thigh. And notice if you're holding yourself up, if you're clenching. That's fine. That's just a different way to experience the pose. See what it feels like to release. Let your pelvis melt down as your spine still grows nice and tall. Good. So you can keep your hands here on your thigh. You can come bring your hands to your hips or reach your arms up overhead. Good. Full breath in. Full breath out. Arms reach. And start to frame that right foot once more. I want you to straighten out your right leg. Send your hips back to go right over that left knee here. Good. And then slowly peel your right toes off the mat. Flex them back to your face. Half split. Good. So sending your right hip back, left hip forward. We want both of our hips to face the top of our mat. Breathe in. You can stay like this, or you might fold. I want you to untuck your chin. Good. Look off the top of your mat. Sometimes when we tuck our chin, we round, we're all domed and crunched in. Find length, lead with your heart, fold with your chest. Take one more breath in. The biggest pose right here. And then start to come back into your low lunge. Take your time. Keep that left hand grounded. Reach your right arm high for the twist. Gaze up. You can stay like this or curl your left toes and lift your left knee off the mat. Press into the mat with your left hand, roll that right shoulder back. Breath in, breath out. Good, last inhale. Start to frame your right foot and step up. Halfway lift, top of your mat, breathing in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up slow, mountain pose. And exhale, fold it away. All the air escapes as you fold back down. Halfway lift, breathe in. This time, step back your right foot for that low lunge. Settling all the way down onto your right knee here. Good. Again, noticing, are you clenching your thighs, your glutes? Are you holding yourself upright? Can you really melt down to the mat? Option to keep your hands grounded or bring them up. And anytime there's a little bit of crunch underneath your right knee, you can roll your mat lengthwise and tuck it under there for an added layer of cushion if you have crunchy knees. Something to do. Or if you're at home, you got a blanket, tuck it under there. Make something up, let it work for you. But I want your shoulders to roll down. I want your pelvis to melt as your spine grows long through the crown of your head. Stay like this or reach your arms high. Breath in, breath out. Good, full inhale. Exhale, frame your left foot. Find your half splits. So you're sending your hips to stack over your right knee. Peel your left toes off the mat, flex them to your face. And we don't want our hips to face the side. We want them to face forward, right? So drawing your right hip forward as your left hip goes back and fold. Why? It's just a different way to get into the stretch. Nothing weird is going to happen to you if you do it in another way. But just a way to be more present in the pose. Again, leading with your heart, lengthening your spine. Inhale, folding, exhale. Good. So your chin is untucked, your spine is long through your neck. Take one more breath in. Big fold here. Coming back into that low lunge. Right hand is going to stay grounded. Left arm reaches high. Big twist, breathe in. Stay or come onto your right tiptoes as you lift your right knee off the mat. Use that right hand, press it into the mat, roll your shoulder back, expose your heart to the ceiling. Take one last inhale. Exhale, framing out your left foot. Step forward, halfway lift, breath in. Exhale, fold. Good, inhale, roll on up, mountain pose. And bring your hands to your heart. Really great. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink chair. Sending your hips towards your heels. You can stay just like this, or you can bring your arms back behind you and come up onto your tiptoes. Good. Every inhale, send your heels higher. Every exhale, send your hips lower. Good. Breath in. Breath out. If you're shaking, that's just your body like, what are you doing to me? That's fine. It's happening to me too. Hips high. Sink, hips low. One more breath just like this. And fold it away. Good, halfway lift. Start to step your left foot back. Find your low lunge once more, but start to crawl your right foot all the way to the side. Bring both of your hands to the inside of your right foot. Lizard lunge. Different than when we're framing, right? Both of your hands to the inside. You can stay just like this. You can come bring those forearms onto some blocks if you have them, or all the way down to the mat. It's up to you. If you like how this feels, stay. Otherwise, you might point those right toes to the 2 o'clock position, roll onto the pinky toe side of your foot, and let your knee kind of come out to the side. You can rock, roll, just open into your hips. Notice how this feels. Close your eyes. And start to breathe into any places that feel tense or stiff. Good. If you want a quad stretch, bend your left leg, reach your right arm back. You may just take a twist here. If you can, find your foot, squeeze your heel to your glutes. Roll your heart high, lean back, gaze up. One more breath. Release. Unwind. Framing out your right foot, heel toe it back to the center. And find your down dog, stepping that right foot back. Full inhale. Full exhale. Send your left foot through, low lunge. Lowering onto that right knee. Good. Give yourself some time here to find lizard. So you're going to crawl your left foot to the side, hands to the inside of that left foot, and choose your variation. So one hip is usually more agreeable than the other. Decide if you want to take it lower here, bringing your forearms down, or if staying upright might feel better. Always an opportunity to bring movement in. And you can start to point those left toes to the 10 o'clock position and roll onto the pinky toe side of your foot. It's like you let your foot open like a page in a book. And you choose any variations. Stillness or hips shifting to the left, to the right. Notice what your body wants. Good. And when you're ready, coming back, reframing, or taking that quad stretch, reaching your left hand back and squeezing your right heel to your glute. Otherwise, just the twist. Beautiful. Press the mat away with your right hand. Your arm is nice and straight. Lean back, chest is high. One more breath, starting to softly release. Beautiful. And then lifting off of that right knee, send your left foot back. Slowly lower all the way down to the mat for 5, 4, I can't see you, but I hope you're doing it. 3, 2, 1. Good. Rested cheek. Arms alongside your body, palms can face up or down. Closing your eyes, resettling your breath. Switching cheeks when you're ready, evening out this neck stretch. Beautiful. Taking your time here, rolling onto your backs. However that makes sense for you to get there, it doesn't matter. Hug your knees into your chest once you get there. Nice big squeeze. Keep that right knee hugged in as you stretch your left leg out, long on the mat. Use the strength of your legs, hug up and over towards your armpits. And then cross that right knee towards the left side of your body for a supine twist. Open up your arms to a T and gaze over to the right. Beautiful. Breath in. Breath out. Take one more round of breath here. And slowly start to unwind. Come back through center, hugging your knees in. Keeping that left leg as you stretch out your right. So you use the strength of your arms here. Bring your knee towards your armpits. Squeeze, hug in. And then exhale, cross your left knee towards the right side of your body for your supine twist. Any variation that you like here. You can always goalpost your arms, and if your knee's hovering, that's fine. Land where you land. Notice the opening across your heart. Take those expansive breaths in and full exhales out. Really good. Knees back in through center. Last big hug, big squeeze in. And stretch out, finding your Shavasana, your final resting pose here. So let your feet flop out to the sides. Let your palms face the ceiling. Receiving all of the last energetic benefits of your practice. This is especially important if you're at home. It's so easy to skip this and move on to the very next thing. Let everything that you just did start to assimilate, start to arrive in your body. It doesn't have to be very long. Just another minute of silence and stillness with yourself. Slowing the rate of your heart by way of your breath. Good, and when you're ready, you can start to bring your knees back into your chest. Last little squeeze, hug in. And rocking up to a seat with your eyes closed. Nice long spine. Breathe in, stretch your arms up high. Breathe out, bring your thumbs towards your chest, palms to touch. Shoulders creep up towards your ears, inhale. Exhale, roll them down your spine. Breath in together. Open your mouth, let it out. Bowing down in gratitude for your practice. Let us take all this energy that we've cultivated here and share it with everyone we encounter the rest of our day. Namaste.